Okay, we're here with Robbie E. of TNA. Robbie, you celebrated your 5th year with TNA this past summer. How's it been for you?
Hey, before we get into that, I just want you to know I was so excited to be on this show. I don't know if you could hear it through my voice, but I did my hair extra special for your show. So how do you feel about that?
I didn't know that it ever went from its normal state or the state we see it on TV. I thought you just woke up like that.
I got to give it a rest. Because it uses a lot of energy to look the way it does all day, so I got to give it a rest when I go to sleep, and then I redo it in the morning. But I did it extra special. I used an extra full can of hairspray just for your show today. So
I thought you fed it NO Explode or Jack 3D or something like that.
Nah, I just feed myself that and way too much of it. But that's another story.
But yeah, you've been with TNA for 5 years now. It doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has. I mean, did you see yourself sticking with the company that long?
I say to myself all the time, I look back to when I first started, and we had these different trailers for dressing rooms back then, and I think of there was 2 or 3 of them, and in mine there was probably give or take maybe 15 guys, and I look back to my first day there and looking around that locker room, and I'm the only one that's still here out of all the guys that changed to my locker room. So it is crazy how many guys come and go, and I'm confident in myself, but I feel like a lot of other people would look at the list of people and be like, man, how did Robbie E stick through all that? But yeah, it is crazy. I mean, it's been 5 years. I am still happy to be here. I don't think I'm going anywhere. I don't want to go anywhere. And it's been a crazy ride. Time flies when you're having fun.
And I mean, a lot of people don't realize you spent a decade on the indies before you even came to TNA?
Yeah, almost 10 years. I started wrestling when I was 16. I started with TNA when I was 26, and now I'm 32. Crazy. I've been wrestling half my life. It's wild.
Starting at 16, I mean, is that intimidating?
Well, I knew I always, right when I got to freshman and high, so I loved wrestling all my life when I was a kid because my older brother liked it. Then when I got into middle school, I was too cool for it. And then when I got into high school, I got serious about it. So when I was in 9th grade and 110 pounds, I was researching wrestling schools and blah, blah, blah. And there was a local independent promotion that ran, by my house, and they opened a school when I was 15. But you had to be 16 to join. So, I knew right when I turned 16, I was going to have my parents sign, and I started working out to try and gain some weight, and I joined with 3 of my best friends, and 2 of them quit before the first match, and the other one I wrestled in my first match, and then he quit, and I stuck with it. And my first actual match was actually on my 17th birthday. So it's pretty crazy.
I couldn't imagine that. I mean, you got the call from TNA, and you had the Jersey Shore gimmick, which has evolved because a lot of people were wondering, what's going to happen when the Jersey Shore thing goes away. Well, you've stuck around longer than the show has.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When you see, I mean, you're given something, you take it. I mean, I wanted to make it so bad in wrestling, you could have told me, yeah, you had to be a ballerina, whatever it was, I was down, So, I mean, granted, Jersey Shore worked for me. I am from Jersey. When I was 20, 21, I did go to all those clubs and live that kind of lifestyle. So, and I liked the show anyway. So it all worked out and was easy for me. It was natural. But, yeah, I mean, things aren't, in 2015, it's hard for things to last. And I was able to stick through it and go through different phases. When I left Cookie, then I kind of moved fully away from Jersey Shore. I still represented it with my hair and the way I dressed, but it wasn't so Jersey Shore. When I moved into Bigger Rob, it was something different, and then got a little bit away from it more with Jesse as the bromans, and now, I'm pretty much fully turning into kind of something different and showing a different side of myself, just being Robbie E.
You mentioned Cookie. We've heard a lot of mixed things about what it's like to work with her. What was that like for you? I mean, we've heard that. I think I remember a story saying that there were some issues there.
I mean, it is what it is. Am I allowed to do a no comment on that? Does that kind of answer that question?
Yeah, that works. That works. And like I said, it's really mixed, the reactions we get when it comes to that personality.
Let's just say that the proof is in the pudding, and I'm here and she isn't.
I guess that's the way the cookie crumbles, right?
That's right. That's good. That's good.
You also were around during the Hulk Hogan, Eric Bischoff era. What was that like compared to now? Because a lot of people expected that to really push TNA forward, and it seems like that era kind of pulled them back a little bit.
I mean, I came when they were already there, so I wasn't there previous, so I don't know the difference between like the two feelings of everything, because I didn't come till they were all there. But for me, I mean, it was great. Hogan is a super cool, approachable, knowledgeable guy that always watched the monitor and gave guys feedback and everything, and same with Eric. I've never had an issue with them. I've never really had an issue with anyone. I enjoyed my time when they were there, and I'm enjoying my time now. You know, to me, it's all, you know, it was two different feelings, but I enjoy both feelings. You know, I still think TNA's always been top notch throughout it all.
What was Hogan like backstage? I mean, you mentioned that he was approachable and things like that. Would he help out talents with developing their characters or in-ring personas?
I would, you know, he literally would hang at the monitor and watch. So like you would come back and he would call you over and give you maybe feedback on something that he watched, or you could approve on, or just say good job or whatever it is. Or, you know, you could just go up to him and say, hey, did you catch my match? You know, anything you saw that could be different or this and that. Like he was totally down for that. It wasn't like, you know, it wasn't like he was locked in his own room all day and you didn't get to see him until he went out because he's this big star. You know, he was definitely around.
And how about Eric Bischoff? Was he much of the same, or was he more of just a lay back and watch type of guy?
No, same. I mean, he was hands-on. He was approachable to ask him questions, or if he saw something and had an idea, he'd come right up to you. Sometimes it was something maybe you didn't want to hear. He might, you know, he goes straight with you and tells you like it is. But I mean, he tried to help everyone out. You know, he was a good dude. He is a good dude.
Yeah, he seems like a brutally honest person, which is something you probably need in a situation like that.
It's pro wrestling. I don't want to hear the things I did right. I want to hear the things I did wrong so I can improve on them.
You got a lot of exposure from The Amazing Race. How did that thing come about?
Just, you know, an agent that helped out with some bookings and everything, was tight with someone from the show, and they were looking just for pro wrestlers, and that's it. Flown to LA for an interview. Obviously, they love me, and that's it. The rest is history.
Did you have to get like permission from TNA to do that?
Yeah, I did. Obviously for the time off, because filming the show took over a month. But TNA was all about it because, I mean, you know, it's one of the biggest reality shows of all time. It's exposure like no other. So I definitely gained some fan base from that now tune into TNA because, you know, they fell in love with me on Amazing Race, and now they're going to watch me on TNA. So it gained TNA some exposure. So, yeah, they were all about it. They were definitely supportive of it.
Yeah, I used to teach like a women's kickboxing class out here, and it was amazing. Like, people knew that I wrote about wrestling and stuff, and they knew your name and they knew Jesse Goddard's name because of Big Brother and Amazing Race. And I was like, man, the reach of those shows is just amazing.
It really is. It's a different world. I've been eating with Jesse, and I mean, some crazy stuff has happened to me too, but Jesse's been on Big Brother so many seasons and keeps returning. It's such a memorable character. I've seen like women shriek at him in public, just like running up to him, and like it is, honestly, it's pretty crazy.
Would you say that's a different kind of shrieking than what happens when they see EC3 out? I see that you all go back and forth on Instagram a little bit.
I go back and forth with him on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, real life. I want to get in a real fist fight with him. I'm pretty sure that, yeah, he gets no shrieking like that. In fact, people shriek and run the other way away from him because he is Satan himself.
Yeah, well, he's a Browns fan, so what do you expect?
Yeah, well, that's true. Anyone, like I told him the other day, except for the Cleveland Indians, the season that they were in Major League with Charlie Sheen and Willie Mays Hayes, there's nothing good ever came out of Cleveland.
That's true. That's true. Do you think that the Amazing Race deal could have led to a bigger storyline with TNA?
You know, it is what it is. You're always people are gonna have different opinions on things. I just kind of thought after the show, you know, the Amazing Race is a reality show. It catches real things. It catches reality, and I'm a good guy, and I think that's how the show portrayed me. And my partner didn't look so good. She showed a little bit of her evil side, which is definitely what she has. So I do kind of feel coming back that, you know, I could have been more of a fan favorite a little earlier like I am now, but it is what it is. It still worked the way it was done.
Yeah, I thought it was a really cool opportunity to have you all on there. And I mean, the past year, the TNA's been in sort of an interesting position. I mean, it's been sort of a state of flux. What's it been like backstage for the past year?
Just everyone at TNA is so positive, and they always have been. Since it started in when did it start? 2001 or whatever year
2002.
TNA 2002 when it started. I mean, pretty much since day one, everyone's been saying it's not going to last or it's going to close, and they've had its ups and TNA's had its ups and downs, but just like everything else in life does. The most important thing is that it survived. So as long as everyone's still here and it's lasting, why be negative? Enjoy it while it lasts. Everyone in the locker room's good dudes. They're super positive. They're super talented. Our roster's awesome. So, I mean, everyone's been in a great mood like they always are. Because until something happens, it doesn't happen. And, everyone after Spike TV said we weren't going to last. Then we got Destination America. After Destination America, we're not going to last. Now we're just kicking off fresh on Pop TV, which is going to be great for us. So there's really no need to not be in a good mood.
Yeah. Do you think that Destination America, do you think TNA received enough support from them? Because it seemed like, from the outside looking in, that Destination America was really like 1 week on, 1 week off, because they promoted everything really heavily. They brought in Ring of Honor, so it seemed like they were full steam ahead on wrestling. And then 1 week, it just seemed like, they just weren't interested anymore. Do you think they could have supported things better?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, again, I don't know how things work so much from that standpoint. I'm not behind the scenes. I don't know what's right and wrong or what to say, but I pretty much agree with what you just said. It did kind of seem like that. They were into it, then they weren't into it, then they were into it. So I don't know, the behind the scenes logistics of everything, but, I do agree with that. They could have put more into it, which is why now we're going to be on Pop TV, and I think they're definitely going to have a lot more, want for us, and they're going to push us a lot more.
Yeah, tell me a little bit about that. I'm really excited to see them debut on Pop TV. It's a station that actually I found out I had earlier this year because it was the old TV Guide channel, and it aired Paragon Pro Wrestling. This is a big leap from Paragon Pro Wrestling. This is a primetime show, and it's going to start off the first week of January, correct?
Yes, January 5th live from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
So, I mean, yeah, you all are doing a live show. How did you find out that TNA was moving to Pop TV?
When the announcement was made, like everyone else, I mean, we knew we were getting moved somewhere. Dixie Carter she's a great boss. She's not going to let TNA close. She loves it with all of her heart. She's going to do everything to keep it everlasting. And, we knew we were going to a different TV network. It was just which TV network was it going to be. So we heard the announcement when everyone else did, and it was good news. Pop TV is, like you said, you already kind of knew what it was and got it. It's in a lot more homes than Destination America was, which means more the opportunity for more viewers. And more viewers means higher ratings, and higher ratings means, more asses in the seats, and more asses in the seats mean more money, and more money means more money for us. So it's a great thing.
Well, I know you all haven't had any tapings or anything like that, but what has been the consensus among the wrestlers since this move? It's got to be positive.
Well, I mean, yeah, like you said, we felt Destination America was kind of not really giving, so believe me, no one's going to miss being on that TV network. So we're all positive to move to something different and get a fresh start.
They've also had the TNA World Title Series of late, which is, a lot of wrestling. And for fans that want more wrestling than out-of-the-ring action, it's been interesting. That was an unconventional way of filming things. How interesting is it to see all that come together when, I mean, I know a lot of talent didn't know that they're filming a tournament at the time, but as it turns out, it's been pretty interesting for TNA.
Honestly, I think it's different and it's cool. What is there to complain about? Everyone always finds something to complain about. We want more wrestling. There's not enough wrestling. There's always something to pretty much bitch about, and there's nothing here. You're getting wrestling every week. You're getting matches that you don't always get to see, that aren't rushed, and people getting to showcase their talents, different stuff that they have. For me personally, the tournament's been awesome. I got grouped with Matt Hardy, Davey Richards, and Eddie Edwards, so I really got a chance to show a different side of myself, and, people forget that I actually can wrestle. So even though I haven't advanced into the Final 16, I think it's been great for me in my career being able to have, memorable matches with those three.
Also, TNA's moving to Tuesday nights, which that puts, I was looking at the weekly schedule. You have Raw Mondays, TNA Tuesday, NXT and Lucha Underground Wednesday, also Ring of Honor, SmackDown Thursday, New Japan Friday. And then, there's always something going on the weekends, whether it's something like UFC or a pay-per-view. Do you think that's good for TNA and good for wrestling as a whole?
I mean, it's 2015. Even if there wasn't a show on one of the nights, between YouTube and everything, there's shows on that, or it's just like there's so much out there. There's so much competition out there. People have so many options out there. You got to do what you do to just make them focus on your product, so you can't really think about other stuff. And for a wrestling fan, I guess it's great. I'm trying to think growing up, I guess it would have been pretty cool to have wrestling to watch every night. So if you do get all of those channels, more power to you, and you're a wrestling fan. Yeah.
Now, over on Wednesday nights, we've seen former TNA talents like Samoa Joe and James Storm with NXT. What are your thoughts on those guys signing with WWE?
It is what it is. It's their career, not mine, Samoa Joe's a great guy. James Storm's a great guy. They deserve the best. Whatever they feel is best for them, that works,
Yeah.
That's it, If that move is best for them and their family or whatever reason it happened, then more power to them.
Yeah, we also had those reports earlier this year of Destination America canceling TNA. What was your reaction when you heard something like that? I mean, it was just a few short months after we said they were full steam ahead.
It's the same reaction like I talked about, how since 2002 everyone's pretty much been saying TNA is going to close or fail or this. Until something happens, it doesn't happen. I pay no mind to stuff online or rumors or that crap. It doesn't faze me at all. I don't blink one extra time. I don't lose a second of sleep thinking about it. And it would have been pointless if I did. It would have been pointless if I did, because look where we are now.
True. You also had obviously we mentioned that successful tag team with Jesse Goddard. When you all split, was that something you saw coming? Who's the kind of person that approaches you with that suggestion?
I think it's just more or less. In 2015, it's hard for things to last, and we definitely were lasting. It's hard to get a first time and be different in wrestling, and it was the first ever time two reality stars have teamed together. There's obviously been reality stars in wrestling before, but never a tag team where two joined forces. And then the fact that we had our own DJ, which was different. No one's really ever done that. So we definitely were a new act. Was there life still left in us? Yes. But sometimes when you have something really good, you want to take it away, and that way you could go back to it when you need to. And I think, me and Jesse had our differences. The bromans are done for now. I think we're both going to go on to successful singles careers, as well as Zima. And I think there'll be a time and place for us to reunite, and the people will be happy about it. So I think it was a good time to end us, knowing that sometime in the future we may be together again.
Yeah, one of the most amazing things I thought out of that, they took DJ Z and made him the most obnoxious person on planet Earth, and then later on made him sympathetic when the split was happening for a short period. And I was like, man, I can't believe they pulled that off, because every week I was like, the damn horn. And I mean, it was really good. I enjoyed it. It was something different, which is always good in pro wrestling.
That's right. No matter what it is, if it's different is good.
Indeed. Now, you all were set to go to India, and that got canceled. How did you feel about that? For the people I talked to, there were kind of mixed feelings. A lot of people were nervous about going to India. Some were excited. How did you feel?
I was super excited. The reasons that it's canceled, obviously, they're things that can't be spoken about, but it was for a good reason, and the tour is postponed. It is happening. It will happen in the new year. We have a great relationship with Sony 6, which is the channel over there that we air on. So it is going to happen. And I was super excited to go, and I still am. And I love traveling the world, and it's always cool to go someplace new. And I actually haven't been to India yet, so that was going to be something I was looking forward to. Yeah,
I know TNA is a huge part of Sony 6 over there, and they've had like major success due to TNA. So yeah, I imagine when that tour happens, it's going to be a really big one. Now, as we mentioned, Pop TV, TNA starts just next month now. Wow, it's December already. It's crazy to think that. What are you most looking forward to when the move happens? Do you see TNA maybe getting another fresh start?
Well, I definitely think we'll get another fresh start. It's a new network. I mean, that automatically is fresh start. But, for me personally, for my singles career, what I'm excited about is, I'm fresh. Like I said, I'm fresh off this tournament. and I really feel like I got to showcase a different side of myself, and I had some really good matches with Davey, Eddie, and Matt. And moving forward now, I'm excited for what's ahead for Robbie E. I think you're going to, the fans are going to be happy, and the fans are happy seeing what they're seeing, and they're going to continue to be happy seeing this different side of me.
Well, before we go, please let the fans know where they can follow you on social media, because your social media is rather entertaining.
Well, so Instagram and Twitter, you can find me at Robbie E Impact. And then my official website is robbie-e.com. And then, of course, impactwrestling.com. You can find me under the roster page and get all your Impact Wrestling info from that.
Also, do you have any other upcoming appearances or, anything like that?
Yeah, but you know what? I'm a hustler, man. If something's not going on with TNA related during the week or on the weekend, I'm pretty much away somewhere on the weekend wrestling. I still like getting out there and working with younger talent and learning, and of course, it's always extra money involved. So I have too many to remember. You can check out my schedule on my website.
Also, guys, check out Robbie E's Pro Wrestling Tees page. There's a shirt up there I particularly like, the EC3 versus Robbie E shirt, which is really cool. But yeah, definitely check that out. Robbie, we want to thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us and being honest and candid about everything.
Okay. Yeah, man. I appreciate it.